Hey, do you remember this? The Simpsons Hit and Run? Lots of people around my age do. It's considered one of the best media tie-in games of the PS2 original Xbox GameCube era, and it's one of the most well-known and widely enjoyed games of that console generation, period. And for good reason. Fun little pseudo-open world Simpsons driving game. If you're watching this video, you probably need no introduction. I've been replaying it myself for a while now, and for one thing, I got the old PS2 here out for nostalgia's sake recently, and two, I was planning on doing a video about hidden details in media tie-in games as a whole that I wanted some B-roll footage for. But it didn't take too long before I got a little sidetracked taking a finer look at this, The Simpsons Hit and Run specifically. Because I realised in this game, a kid's game, PG rated, based on a typically very relatively clean series, actually has loads of swear words in it. And in fact, if you've played Hit and Run at all, I guarantee you've seen them yourself, but you probably just didn't notice. Evidently, before the game shipped, no one in a management position at Fox or Vivendi Games or any higher ups in the development team noticed either. But someone on the actual Code Monkey staff secretly put a bunch of really explicit curse words in here. And that's what I wanted to bring your attention to today, the hidden profanity of The Simpsons Hit and Run. Before we jump straight into things, I'll say, what I'm going to demonstrate today ought to be visible on every version of the game, regardless of platform, and you won't need to do anything fancy to see all this firsthand for yourself either. I'm not talking about something you need to glitch outside of the game map to see, or anything buried deep in the game's files on the disk or anything like that. This is something that, if you know where to look, you can see as soon as you get into the game. Here, I'll prove it. When you boot up Hit and Run, after the Game Studio promo and a little CGI cutscene you can skip if you want, you get to this delightful little main menu screen. And you go through the television to load your game just like this. As any of the game's 7 level hubs load in, you get this newspaper gag I'm sure you'll all remember. On the first level it does this little meta joke about easy tutorial levels, and the dates on the top of the newspaper even subtly foreshadow the fact that the 7th and final level of the game will take place on Halloween, setting us up for a special spooky Treehouse of Horror level in classic Simpsons style. But after that loading screen, you're in. And by now, you've already been shown your first bit of unauthorized hardcore profanity. Did you catch it? It's the newspapers. There's 7 of these in the game, and they all obviously have a few visually distinct bits on them where the joke headlines are. But here's the thing. The rest of that text isn't just filler, and it isn't just grey lines like I thought it was at first. If you were playing this game as a kid, you'd probably never think to check, and the old CRT TV you probably had at the time most likely wasn't high definition enough to let you read it all properly anyway. But the small print on those loading screen newspapers are all real words that some developer or some artist must have put together without telling anyone, but they clearly weren't signed off on from anyone who would normally be in charge of that sort of thing. And take a look at this. Let's isolate the loading screen newspaper from the first level and zoom and enhance on the words there. The uppermost small paragraph reads, "The weekend was good. Simon, Ed, Nikki, Stacy and I had a good time at the beach. Ed, Simon and I spent all day in the ocean. We would only come in to get some food and then back out into the water. It was great. I also saw my buddy Harvey from New Zealand. He lives in Jakarta too, but has been away on vacation. I got an email from Dave. He says he's depressed in Ottawa with his girlfriend and is thinking of going to Korea. What a guy." Below the cut, and off to the left, there's more. Scott wrote me and said he broke up with his girlfriend. He said that he is unsure and needs some time to think about it. Or just wants to fuck a bunch of other women. I told him to be honest with himself. All the loading screen papers are like that. There's a whole implied lore in there about whoever Simon, Ed, Nikki and Stacy are. And in the spirit of exploration and discovery, I'm not going to show you what they all say here. I will say they're all interesting, and given the sort of language these papers use pretty liberally, they would not be allowed in a family-friendly game like The Simpsons Hit and Run if anyone had noticed before it came out. When I spotted this myself, I couldn't find any info on this online. It's not even on the Simpsons Hit and Run wiki, and it's usually pretty good at covering really obscure stuff in the game. But hey, just goes to show you that even an old game you've played before might still have some surprises left in it. It's just something interesting I found. Anyway, my name's Card, and if you might like to hear more from me, feel free to subscribe to this YouTube page, or just take a look at my other videos. Either way, goodbye for now, and have a lovely day.